Hi, I am Zahiraniza Mustaffa from University Technology Petronas. So today I'm going to share with you my teaching and learning approach entitled Impactful Alternative Assessment for an Engineering Material Course. It's a material course during the pre and present COVID-19 pandemic. So what about the course? So basically, this is a material engineering course. At the end of the day, students will be able to make all these concrete bricks. So basically, it's a purely theoretical course that they can learn by themselves because it's a reading base. And the problem with this course in the previous semesters is like they don't like to attend the class. So the students' interest to sustain them would be very challenging. And now everything has to be online. How do you go about? So that is the question that we like to answer. How do we transfer the physical teaching and learning vibes to students virtually? Okay, so before the coming of COVID-19, I have imposed one activity which seems to be very dynamic and interesting during lectures. So it is by the name of ExploCreteRace. ExploCreteRace is from the basis of ExploRace. ExploRace is a very famous series on TV, and eventually, somehow or other, all things in the country nowadays, as you can see from the posters, everything is based on ExploRace. So I have proposed this ExploRace to be made in a class during one day event demonstration where they would come in a group, they work together very fast, time is a constraint, and eventually they've got to prepare this concrete mix. So these are the instructions I give beforehand for them to learn. And then they became busy on that day of event. They got to do the mixing. That time they already wore the mask, but these masks are not meant for COVID-19. It was for protection from dirt. And then I made certain assessment with following certain rubrics. So they got the scores, and the best part is that I gave them prizes at the end in the form of books. So they were so happy. So they liked this activity. They liked the course, began to like the course. However, it's just too good to be true, isn't it? When they were having this interest, the liking is there, but then comes the pandemic. So you can't really have a physical contact anymore. So what is the problem statement? The problem statement is now how would you make the course to be interesting virtually? And from there, I propose what we call impactful alternative assessment. So what is it? So I define impactful alternative assessment as something that introducing an alternative approach to the new norm of teaching and learning during COVID-19, but significant enough and impactful enough to be made online without compromising the quality, but you have to be at home. So you got to use anything available at home. So in this short summary, the framework was like there are the before and after. So before you have physical context, but now everything is virtual. And then speaking about number two, assessment. Last time I didn't need to put so much effort in the weekly assessment. But now I have to make the weekly assessment. They don't like it, but it's good. The third one, you've got to have more demo. How do you want to make a demo when you are on the screen and they are on the other side of the screen? So this is what I'm going to share with you. So the approach is like, so the present one, I make demo with whatever available at home. And with those definition, with those description comes back to all the engineering explanation, whatever I have rambutan, a box of duster, oranges, and this is the real concrete that they have to understand. By using whatever materials you have at home helps them to bring the reality into something conceptual engineering. Okay, then I have a cat. So apparently that time there was a cat moving on the table. The cat was moving and then I grab it and I said, okay, now I'm going to show to you how is the shear force. Shear force is simply a force pushing on a structure on a surface. So I make a replicate of shear force onto my cat and the students was like, wow, that is really, really nice. And then I explain in terms of the geometry. And later on, I brought them outside, mobilized them within whatever vicinity. So for me, the civil engineering materials are always abundant outside when there are always construction activities by my neighboring neighbors. So I brought them out with the with the handphone with the laptop, I'm sorry, and then with all the materials I showed to them, it was online verbally. Then I brought them to my kitchen. Why? Because I'm going to show them how to make this concrete, which is the last photo here on the right bottom. But before making the concrete, there should be some sieve analysis that they have to learn. So in making that, I begin showing how does the cake was made from the process of sieve analysis, where you have to sieve the flour. So imitating whatever they know, familiar with, like the cake, and making that into eventually a similar case of concrete was fun. So that was it. Then what are the benefits? I'm going to share with you the benefits of doing this virtual teaching and learning. Number one, as you are recording this session, and if your session are not boring enough, because you bring them all over the places, all over the houses, so they will be stored in the platform that you are using. For us in UTP, we use the big blue button, BBB, so we can store all the clips from time to time, and these below are the example of all my clips made during class. Some of them in the class, some of them in the lectures, some of them in my kitchen, some of them in my bedroom, whatever replicates to suit the context of that day lecture. So that is what we do, number one. Number two, in order to engage them, you will have to make them come to your class online. So what I do, I would just heads up, hey, we're going to have quizzes, 5 questions, very short, within 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the lecture. So these are all the barcodes for my online quizzes, and which is I never used it before. And now in this assessment, these are the blue calculation, which give 15% from all this distribution of the quizzes. So this is good for a virtual online learning experience. And then speaking about the impact was really good and can be measured in different ways. So number one was about the students' performance. I'm bringing you one graph showing the previous semester, which is non-COVID-19 pandemic attack, which is the blue line, where you see there were like 33 students having the mean of B. Whereas for the present one, in this semester, May to 2020 semester, with 32 students, around the same number of students, the mean and median shifted to A minus. And I got nice things, they said that, okay, I got a score around 4.38 to the scale of 5. That's how they evaluated me. But the most important thing is like, I have given a sharing session to all the lecturers in UTP on a simple way that everybody can do from home. This is what we call the community of practice, organized by our CITAL. And from there, we shared within 20-30 minutes on the 15th of July on what have been conducted and how this can be beneficial to anyone else teaching a material-based course. Okay, now, what do you think? Do you think it's still a challenge? It's still a challenge. You just need to know how to make an impactful assessment as an alternative to keep the teaching and learning in a fun way, and not to give up on your students very, very soon. There are always ways to live within this new norm of teaching and learning community. With that, I thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.